wait 3 seconds so that I can like have it. Okay. Okay. I'm Benny.
I'm Madison.
America.
I'm Alan.
I'm Justin.
And okay, so just to start off the podcast, what have you guys learned from, or like, what can you gain from this class? Like, what have you gained?
Well, for me, I learned how to be an active reader instead of a passive reader. And being an active reader, just paying attention to what the author wants to get you to do, and how everybody has like different preconceived notions.
Good answer. Okay, so personally, I feel like I've learned just like how to communicate with the group better, and the teamwork wise, I liked it. Normally, I don't like teamwork. I like it in this class because you get to hear like everybody's opinions on stuff and like just what they interpreted differently.
I learned what rhetoric was because I really didn't know what it was, and I learned how to apply it in my writing, and like I use it as well, like to be more mindful when I read other people's writings.
What I learned, or what I got from the class, was I really liked the way that he provided us with articles on how to do stuff, like on how to properly correct somebody else's writing and give great feedback and how to make their writings better, because it made me feel like as I was correcting them, I was also working on myself and improving myself as well. So I liked the double benefit, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get that. Like you can like use their experiences or like what they found.
Yeah, like use their experiences to help me as well.
Yeah.
The articles really helped you like view things from a different viewpoint. It's not just everything from the same idea. We really were challenged to view different perceptions.
And another thing is like I learned how to like write not just to write and not for final product. I learned how to like write for a specific like reason and reasons behind that and who like I was writing to.
Yeah, like the audience. Yeah.
And I feel like he did that like throughout the whole semester, especially since like our final, he didn't like say, okay, this is the date, you have to do this. Like he went and did checkpoints and was like, this is due today. And like at the end, everything is just gonna be submitted at once. So he mainly checked for the process instead of like the end product.
Yeah, it's the journey. Well,
Yeah.
he's been emphasizing that throughout the entire class.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I really like that we get to critique each other and really like, well, in our group we have to build like relationships and start talking about our writing and how to make it better, and like the positive criticism's a lot different than before. Like normally they just tell you fix this. Here you actually get compliments, you get different stuff like that.
Yeah, like he explained how giving feedback isn't just like pointing out all like the negatives and like what they did wrong. It's also like glorifying, I guess, like what they did right.
He showed a lot through example. Yeah, like he gave us examples, and then that's how we base things off of. Instead of like giving us the theory and then we figure it out from there.
And I also feel like we came a long way as a group. Because I did notice that like in the beginning we were kind of like, I don't really want to be honest with them because I don't want to seem like a bad person. But then later on, like with this last one, the artifact one, we were like very blunt. We're like, okay, yeah,
straight
we
to
don't.
the point.
Yeah.
And very,
We weren't like just lathering up with like.
yeah. We weren't sugarcoating it.
Anyway.
Did you apply anything to the real world? Just in general. This is to everybody, not just one specific person.
I feel like I did, like when I saw like an advertisement or like a poster or something, like I thought about like what went into that and like how they created that. So that's
Like their intended audience. Yeah, because like with the posters and stuff, how you advertise and like what you decide to put on a poster or a flyer or a brochure or anything in general, your artifact. It all depends like what you put on there and what you don't put on there, and that's how your message will be like, perceived, I guess.
I think that we focused a lot on like persuasive and trying to get somebody to do something throughout the year. Like it was very odd to see that because you never really think about that. Like that the advertisers, well, you know that they're trying to get you to buy something, but you don't know. Like personally, I didn't think of the audience or of their motivation or things like that. It's something very behind the scenes.
Okay, respectfully, I don't know if this like, I'm not coming for you or anything, but respectfully I have to disagree because with my past sponsors, I guess, my English teacher, she taught us a bunch of the stuff that I learned this semester. So it's not that really I learned anything, a lot of things differently. It was just the way he put it out, I guess.
Yeah.
Like if anything, in the past, I've been taught that like you have to think of like who your audience is, and that's why when I came into this class, it was like, oh, okay, it's a repeat, or like I know exactly what they're asking for. I know how they did this. I know the steps they did to do this. But that's because it was different for that. It was different for me because of my sponsors.
Yeah.
I can agree. Like with my English teachers, I feel like the stuff that he went over was mainly like stuff that I already knew. So I wasn't new, but he did go kind of more in depth with it, adding articles and making us better in the sense.
And he did it
of,
in like a different way. Like with my past English teachers, I feel like it was more like we analyzed like movies and we analyzed like advertisements, videos,
Oh,
and just like commercials in general.
Yeah.
Personally, for my sponsors, I had terrible English teachers, and
Oh, is it the ones where you just like write essays?
yeah, well, not only that,
Like
but
period? That's all you did?
so I knew about this, but I've never had a teacher blatantly express it, and this got me thinking more of like, well, it's college, we have to think about the real world, but like my sponsors were always classic literature or things like that, and we really didn't have to analyze that much. Well, no, we had to analyze it, but we didn't go into like literature that we see in real world, like literacy that we see in advertisement, commercials, things that we see every day. It was more like trying to get cultured around like classic literature. So it was extremely different for me. And I had terrible teachers. Like personally, they hated me. So yeah.
Oh, I mean with my past, I mean I've had the same English teacher I had the same English teacher for 2 years in a row, and that was all of high school. So, so basically what we did was we analyzed a lot of like modern big things, right? But we also analyzed like Shakespeare and the other one, I forgot his name. But we like a lot of like old literature, and like it was interesting to see how like my past sponsors and how our new professor like both incorporated it into like rhetoric. Because before any English class, I did not know what rhetoric was, and I didn't know how to like incorporate it into like, what I do.
Yeah, and I feel like he really did take that into account, because it was like, so in the high school, like teachers display something to you and you gotta analyze it, but with him it was like you were being included in it, because he made you do something. He made you do a poster, a comic. He made us go in front of the class and like persuade the people and everything. So I felt like it was more like hands-on.
And you more like incorporate it into your own like writing.
Yeah, it was very personalized. That's what I saw. Especially like in our research papers, like we had to choose our topic. It could be anything as long as it's around literature.
Yeah. Oh, and actually, like my essay included some of that point that how, because it was over timed essays, timed writings, and how there was a specific article saying how it should be more personalized, and how, because people learn differently, and I feel like he really did bring that to the table, being it more personalized and making us write an essay that we're actually like looking into and learning about and helping us improve as a person as well. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I think the fact that like we read an essay on something that like we related to really like helped us like understand it like better.
Yeah, definitely. And like we all have different experiences, so we got something that interested us, and it's great to have as a final project because it makes the semester not seem so tiring.
Yeah, I like the fact that he let us choose our topic, because normally you don't really see that. It's more you have to do this and you have to do it this certain way. But he just said like you can choose it as long as it revolves around like English, rhetoric.
Definitely.
Alan, what did you think? Or what did you like the most about it?
That we got to learn how to analyze reading more like deeper, like in between the lines.
Yeah.
And I feel like he really did make us like do that a lot, since every time we had to annotate and like highlight stuff, and he would always be checking for it. So we really had to, I guess, dig deeper into an article than usual.
And we were left to our own devices, so we really had to figure stuff out. It was more comprehensive than busy work than anything, and that's a huge difference from like normal classes.
I also felt like he really like wanted us to like gain a lot of things from this class. And I feel like you could tell that he was excited about what he was doing, and that made me like okay, I have a higher respect for him, because you can tell that he actually cares.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the fact that he cared like more about us learning, like understanding like the end product.
And it took things from different types of like career paths, and because we didn't just do literature, we actually had to learn how to like design posters. We had to learn how to. He took things,
Like talk with other people. And, like,
yeah. It was more than just English and rhetoric and
and just
composition.
essays.
Yeah, no, because when I came to this class, I originally thought it was gonna be essays. The final exam was gonna be like an essay. Yeah. Yeah. Completely different than I imagined.
In a good way though, this class was interesting.
Like it was different in a really good way. I feel like he really likes what he
Yeah,
teaches, and that's
and you can see it in the way like
yeah.
just he makes like you can just see that he cares what he's doing about.
Yeah. I also learned a lot about like myself, like my strengths and weaknesses in these classes. Yeah. Like I really need to work on personalizing my essays, but also at the same time knowing when to not personalize my essays depending who I'm talking to.
Yeah, I feel like it's just more of like being aware of who my audience was, because that's how that would change like the entire way I put out.
Yeah. Yeah, everything revolves around audience, in all honesty, especially in writing.
Yeah, like, and not just like everything in general, like not just writing, like advertising, sales, talking in general. Like, I feel like in his class, it didn't really teach me, but it made me more aware that like depending on who you're talking to, it can depend like your vocabulary can change, the way you talk can change, what you include and what you don't include can all depend on.
So it's like communication, basically. Yeah, I agree. Communication's complicated, especially when we're doing our speeches or when we're doing different things.
what's like the thing that you're gonna miss about this class? I feel like that's like a fun thing.
What am I gonna miss from this class? I feel like him, just like as a teacher, because I have some teachers right now, some professors that I feel like they kind of don't enjoy what they're teaching,
Oh yeah.
or
Agreed.
they sound really like monotone about the topic.
Like they're not excited about what
So
they're
that
doing.
makes me not excited as well, because it's like, come on, you're the one teaching it, like, come on, be excited a little bit. And I feel like he really did bring it. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to this class, but it wasn't like a drag, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to this class. It was like, okay, I'm ready to go to the class.
Or like tests behind tests and studying. It's a lot more incorporated than anything. Yeah, but he kind of forced us to mingle with the
Yeah,
groups.
that was
Yeah.
Yeah.
first day of school, he was like, okay, find your groups.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting. So, when somebody, like, when family members ask you, like, oh, how are your classes going? And if they ask you how your rhetoric class is going, like, what do you tell them? It's like, or like over the Christmas break, like, because we end this class in like, what, 2 weeks? Next week. So, like, what do you think you're gonna say about, like, to, like, your younger siblings, or, like, your younger cousins, when they say, like, oh, how's English or something?
Unconventional. That's in one word, unconventional, because it really takes in like the college experience of just being there by yourself, and you have to do everything for yourself without any real guidance other than here's what you have to do, and you have this room to run around in. So it's very different from what I'm used to.
Yeah, because we get to work as a team the whole semester.
Mhm.
And it's like, we usually don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I thought of, like, college, I did not think teamwork at all.
I would
Or
have thought
at
it's more
least-
individualistic. Yeah.
And I
Or
mean,
at least,
it's
like,
kind
not
of,
the whole semester.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it also is individual work, but like, not at the end of the day, but at the end of the class period, we all gather together and we're like, okay, what can we improve on, etc., etc.
Yeah. Well, I think any job we get, we have to work with other people. Even if we're alone behind the computer, we have to go out to the grocery store for food or something. So we really need to learn how to communicate.
Yeah, this class like forced us to
Yeah.
interact, yeah, with other
lot.
people.
It could be a pain or it could be really enjoyable. That's yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like he did make us take a lot from this class in some way. If we can't, we're not able to see it right now, but like later on we'll be like, oh yeah, like I felt like that class did make me feel more confident in speaking to people and stuff like that.
I've talked to people that have already taken this class and they all say it's enjoyable and you get to work in groups and
Yeah, so overall, like, it was a good class.
Yeah.
Even though I may not have shown it at some times, it's a pretty good class, you know?
we're nearly done and that's insane. The semester went by quickly but slowly at the same time.
Yes. Okay, so, I feel like that's what I got from this class. Does anybody have anything else to add?
The only thing I can think about right now are like the inquiry and responses for some reason.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh my gosh, those
Anchor-
go back
oh,
to like
yes.
the first.
I know.
yeah, at the beginning, yeah.
I feel like those. Okay, at the moment they were a pain. Sorry, but but they were. I did not enjoy them at all. Okay, if I'm being really honest, they were not. I was not for it. That was not my cup of tea. Let's just say that. but I feel like it made me like actually think into what they were talking about instead of just reading to read.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And the articles we had to read were very unconventional, and they also tied into like the lecture and stuff, which was really unexpected because I remember reading the first article and thinking, how is he gonna use this?
But you actually incorporated it pretty good.
Yeah, he did.
Really did.
So,
Even with like correcting and stuff, like he made us read how to actually be able to correct somebody's writing, and
Yeah.
then we actually went
and then we had to
corrected
read about reading and giving feedback.
somebody. I was like, okay.
I was like, okay.
This entire class has been so meta, in all honesty. Because we're reading about how to read, or we're reading about how to understand other people and things
Or
like
reading about how to understand other people's reading.
that.
So,
Yeah, exactly.
it's been a very interesting class. I will say that.
Yeah. Well, we have them next term.
There will be some lessons learned. Okay,
Overall, it was a good experience.
Same here.
yeah. I feel like if I had any other professor,
It would have not. Yeah.
It would have
Yeah.
been torture. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a pretty good experience overall.
Definitely.
I would recommend it to like anybody.
And I feel like
Mhm.
it was a good transition.
Into
from-
college.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
from high school to college, because it was
It was
so much pressure.
It was a smooth transition. It wasn't just
Yeah,
like
it wasn't a
Yeah.
smooth pressure. He was very flexible, because I remember I like turned in like an assignment late, and it wasn't like too drastic of a change in my grade.
And very
So it was
understanding.
very
yeah, he was very understanding.
Mhm.
So I respected that.
Yeah.
I respected that.
I was very glad for that.
So.
But yeah, he was overall it was really nice.
Yeah. I enjoyed it.
I didn't dread coming to class every day.
Well,
So,
well, I guess this is the end of the podcast then. Yeah.
Thanks for
Yeah.
listening.
Thanks for everything. Bye.
Bye.